This is the first part of the client libraries. We are just keeping up to the programming part, and we now will talk about colcon. That is one of the build tools that we use. If you have been using ROS1 since previous years, it's the same as Kakin make isolated, Kakin tools, everything related to Kakin. Now is the tool that is used on ROS2 is called colcon. So, for example, if you want to install colcon, and in my case, I have installed, so I will not replicate it. Sudo apt install python 3 colcon common tools or common, I think it's common extensions, and then you click press enter and everything gets installed. Okay, when you, for example, use colcon, build something, an example a package, let's see the workspace that I have here. You will have these folders. For example, the build folder is the directory where all the things that you CMake has stored over it. The install directory is where the final binaries goes over to use of the package. The log folder is where all the logs of ROS2 goes on. In this case, over the all the packages that are on source, and the source usually you, when you specify a ROS2 workspace or a ROS1 workspace, you need to put a source folder to allocate all your package that you're using. So for example, let's move clean and create a workspace. So make dir ROS2 ROS2 workspace demo. I don't know. Okay, -p to keep it recursively, and we'll create a source folder. I don't like that name. ROS2, let's say command line interface libraries. Okay, that's a better name. Okay, when we create this thing, it replicates everything that we put here and create a source folder. Inside this nothing. If you navigate to it, let's see, to 3. If you got this tool, you have to install. If you don't have this tool, you have to install it with apt or Joom or Snap. So inside this, there are no folders. Let's try to clone something and move it to that folder. For example, let me copy this command here and cd source. Let me, no, I think git clone on source examples via humble. Okay, cd source. Okay, now we have copied all those files, and there are examples of the command line, sorry, the client libraries that we will be using. Clear everything. And let's move to see another thing. For example, okay, in ROS, you are operating in overlays and underlays. For example, here this is the right now because I didn't do anything. We are operating in a overlay over ROS2. But when you build something, the current installation, let's say it, becomes the underlay of the current overlay. If you don't understand that, just keep going. It will be clear when you start using ROS, just to keep it informed that we're operating in overlays and underlays. So for example, if you want to build some workspace or build some package, you always it's recommended to go to the root folder of the um, or your ROS workspace and do a colcon build symlink install, and I will try to um, compile everything related to ROS and the package that you're using. Now you're seeing, you're compiling the examples, there are 22 examples, and so on. Let's wait a little bit to finish this. Okay, now has been finished the build of colcon. The next thing, if you have some test-driven development or you are a good programmer, not like me, you usually have test files, and if you want to test, you just only type colcon and test, and it will be beginning the test of the files. So for example, let's see how is measuring the test of every one of the packages. Okay, now again the test has been finished, and let's try to run a demo just to keep you informed on what kinds of errors you will note when everything compiles or builds, and then you try to start your node without sourcing your installation over ROS. For example, if you want to run some node ROS to run example RCLPP minimal example RC, let's see, PP minimal subscribe. Okay, not completing. Oh, examples RCLPP. Subscriber. Okay, it's not auto completing. Subscribe. Let's say that you know how your node is naming it and in which package is it. This is the name of the package. This is the name of the node that we are trying to launch. Let's try to launch it. So it says package example RCLCP minimal subscriber is not found. Usually when you build something, you have to communicate to ROS that your package are installed over some somewhere on your file system. So your first thing you need to do is to source everything and communicate ROS that you have everything installed. And this is done by this command, source install setup.bash. Now we can run some ROS nodes, ROS2, run examples rclpp. Let's try to execute the minimal subscriber rclp. Minimal subscriber subscriber member function, and on other window shift control O, the source again, and try to run rclpy. Okay, rclcpp. Publisher member function. Okay, and here it comes. Now you're publishing over something over a topic, and the subscriber is hearing this topic. So that's the basic about building using colcon in ROS2. Let's stop this and explain something a little bit more. For example, if you build something in C++ or Python, you usually specify the usage of the package that we are representing over the package XML. Let's see source, ls, see the examples, ls, see the RCL CPP, see the topics. Let's move to see the minimals publisher, ls. Okay, let's do a cat over package XML. Here you see over it you specify in an XML format the name of the package, the version, who's maintaining it, which are the authors, and then comes the dependencies of build, execution, testing, and if you're using export to something, usually you specify it here. And this is very useful, especially for Gazebo, but we will not be going in deep in this export right now. Usually when you specify package that are using C++, usually you are going to be the build type CMake. And if you are using Python, let's move to Python. Package. And the type of build is Python. Another thing that I can mention you is that, for example, that if you are familiar to ROS1, the way that you create package here is different. We are using colcon. You are using, for example, ROS2 package create to create a package. but that's the same as using colcon in your ROS1. There are other things that you can do. For example, if you want to, um, for example, if you want to set up colcon to find some files or folders or package maybe, you usually specify. I don't use it, but I could tell you. Usually, you use this. You source your this colcon shell over bash RC and export also the colcon CD to find something over Humble or over the entire ROS ecosystem. And if you want to support tag completion, you usually do with this thing. You will use this bash shell script over bash RC and you will be exposed to be doing um, tab completion. If you want to avoid the build of some package, you can, for example, go inside the minimal publisher and put a file named colcon ignore, ignore a file inside the folder to not be built. And for example, if you want to avoid the build test, you can do it using, for example, colcon test. Sorry, if I remember, I don't remember right now because I didn't use it a lot, but cmake args the build type testing equals 0. So you specify here, for example, colcon test and the package that you select, for example, package select, the name of the package, for example, RCLPy, sorry, minimal subscriber. For example, if you have a package name minimal subscriber, this will run test over it, but it'll ignore the testing phase. If you want to build something using colcon and ignore every other package used to build one package, you could do colcon build, package select, and the name of the package. Let's say, for example, a minimal publisher. If you have a package named minimal publisher. And that's all. We will be going in deep on the next chapter. You will use everything here except these things. I prefer to select only the package that I will build. But if you are invited to use those things, I usually don't. But if you want it, you can use it. That's all. Let's move then to know how to create ROS2 workspaces.